You're listening to Keith Sports News. Hello. How's it going? Welcome to KSN episode 3. That's right. During the holiday season. All right. Yes, I am inside this time. And if you look behind me, you can see the Christmas tree. I am recording this the day after Christmas, which is a Wednesday. So you will see this a Thursday. You will see this on Friday. That's right. In case if you're new to this, which I think a lot of people are new to this because this is only episode 3. I'm going to be doing 2 episodes a week, every Monday and Friday. That's when I'll release the videos at 11 a.m. Central Time. All right? So, where I talk about the big sports that I've seen or saw or heard before the weekend and after the weekend. All right. So, the shirt that I'm wearing, look, American Truck. If you follow my main channel, that is my favorite game to play, American Truck Simulator, which I am focusing on that game right now, doing some Christmas special deliveries. Yes. Okay. How about we play some trucking music, shall we? So, what are we going to talk about? Well, the main thing I want to talk about is what are my favorite sports podcasts to listen to. Okay. So I'm going to talk about all that. So, Christmas. There are sports on Christmas Day, and in my opinion, there shouldn't be sports on Christmas Day. I mean, I know the NBA has always had Christmas Day games for a long time, but why do you have to have sports on Christmas Day? Why can't everyone have the day off? You know what I'm saying? That's just me. So, and I'm not an NBA fan. If I am an NBA fan, I wouldn't be saying that stuff, you know? So, it is what it is. Alright? Okay. And let's talk about those 2 unnecessary NFL games that they had on Christmas Day, because Christmas Day was on a Wednesday. Wednesday is not NFL Day, you know? Okay, next year's Christmas will be on a Thursday. Okay, Thursday Night Football, that makes sense. But they had 2 games on Christmas Day, and they weren't on a national network. They were on Netflix. First time the NFL broadcasted games on Netflix. Why? I have no idea. After, over a month ago was the stupid Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight, which was also on Netflix. People were criticizing Netflix, with their buffering issues and all that. So, and it turns out I did not watch the games at all. I didn't watch any sports. Well, I take that back. On Christmas Day, there's a TV right next to me, and I was playing this channel, this Canadian sports channel that I have. It's called Sportsnet, and all day on Christmas Day they were showing misplays of the year, plays of the year, all that stuff. And yeah, It was entertaining. Of any sports, basketball, football, soccer, baseball, hockey, So technically, yes, I did watch some sports, but it wasn't live. It's just highlights, I'm talking about live sports. I did not watch any of the NFL games or NBA games because I just don't do that, I'm not a big fan of either one. But I checked the scores on the NFL games because those were two big matchups. The first one was the Kansas City Chiefs against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the second game was the Baltimore Ravens against the Houston Texans. And both games were in the afternoon. How come there wasn't a Christmas night game? I'll tell you why. Because the NBA game on primetime was the LA Lakers against the Golden State Warriors. Okay, that makes sense. So I checked the scores and man, both games were blowouts, especially the second game. The Houston Texans only scored 2 points. What the hell happened? I mean, I know apparently there was like a big injury that happened last weekend. I forgot who that player was, but they look awful. And that game was in Houston. It's strange, Okay. And man, I wanted to see what it looked like, and let me tell you, that score bug is probably one of the ugliest score bugs I've ever seen for football. It's a weird shape, and it looks terrible. What on earth? I don't understand. Netflix, you have so much money. I think Netflix is the number one streaming app for years. I think Netflix was number one. Go back over 10 years ago, Amazon Prime Video didn't exist, I don't think. Peacock didn't exist. Paramount Plus didn't exist. I think Hulu existed. But back then, people were still buying DVDs, So, yeah, unnecessary. But I'll tell you what I watched. Well, besides the Missed Plays of the Year, Plays of the Year, I watched Christmas kids movies. Yeah. In the afternoon, old Mickey Mouse. Some of them were Christmas themed. And then in the evening, I watched, because I have like a 24/7 channel that just shows Christmas content. And there's one that has Christmas kids shows and movies. And I watched some of that. So they were showing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which came out 60 years ago, 1964, okay, which is insane. And then they showed Shrek the Halls, which was only 30 minutes, and then they showed like a Madagascar with the penguins, that was like only 15 minutes. Then after that they showed the Muppets Christmas from the 90s. That's kind of a weird movie, but it was kind of entertaining. And then the last thing I saw was a little bit of the Polar Express. I didn't see all of it, but that's because I went live. I did a live stream on my main channel last night, which was a sports game, but it was like a winter sports game. It's called Polar Bowler. Polar Bowler was a game that I grew up playing a long time ago. It's a winter-themed bowling game, okay? Other than that, my Christmas was pretty good. It just went by really, really fast, or it came really, really fast, Part of me wished it didn't come this soon, but oh well, that happens. I didn't really do much of my shopping, but that's okay. Next year's Christmas will come even faster. That's the truth, man. The older you get, the faster time flies. Okay, now let's talk about my favorite sports podcast. I made a Google Doc with all my favorite sports podcasts. Okay? And they're on 3 different apps. The first app is Amazon Music. My favorite shows on there are The Tony Kornheiser Show, The Dan Patrick Show, The L. Duncan Show, The Stephen A. Smith Show, Bill O'Reilly's No Spin News and Analysis, which is basically a politics news show, and Pardon the Interruption, or PTI for short. Those are my favorite shows on Amazon Music. I mainly listen to the Tony Kornheiser Show, the Dan Patrick Show, and Pardon the Interruption. From time to time, I'll listen to the L. Duncan Show, the Stephen A. Smith Show, and Bill O'Reilly's No Spin News and Analysis. Okay. So I would like, if I want to listen to these shows, I would look at the description of the episode to see if it's intriguing. If it's intriguing, I would listen to it. If I'm not intrigued, I won't listen to it. I'll just move on to the next show. All right. Okay. Second app, SiriusXM. For some reason, SiriusXM, lately for the past week, SiriusXM, the app, won't work on my phone, and I don't know why. It's weird. It doesn't want to work on my phone. But I have it on my computer and in my vehicle. It works on that. So my favorite shows on there are, 3 of them are on a channel called Mad Dog Sports Radio. So the first one is Shine on Sports with Adam Shine. The second one is Beetle and Decker with Michelle Beetle and Cody Decker. And the third show is Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Russo. Alright, so these are some familiar names. So those three shows are on a channel called Mad Dog Sports Radio, and you can listen to those shows live if you have the SiriusXM app. So they go live every day from Monday to Friday. Shine on Sports, all 3 shows are 3 hours. Okay, so Shine on Sports starts at 8 a.m. Central Time. Beetle and Decker will start at 11 a.m. Central, and then Mad Dog Unleashed will start at 2 p.m. Central. Okay? And I usually don't listen to them live. I would listen to the episode the next day because they have them on demand. And the great thing about that is they have chapters in the episodes. So if there's a certain part of the show that I'm not interested in listening to, I would just go on to the next chapter. And if you listen to the shows live, they do have commercials. So if you watch or if you listen to the full episode as an archive on demand, it's about 2.5 hours. All right. There are 2 more shows that I like on SiriusXM. I'll listen to those from time to time. One of them is a football show called Let's Go with Bill Belichick and Jim Gray. Okay. I started listening to that about over a month ago. And then the second show is a basketball show called Basketball and Beyond with Coach K. Okay, Coach K used to be the coach at Duke University for basketball. He retired over 2 years ago. But his show's pretty good. I'll listen to those from time to time. Alright. And I guess Bill Belichick won't be on this show next year because he's going to be a football coach again at North Carolina. I don't know if I mentioned that already. I think I did, but that was probably one of the most random news that I've heard when they announced that he is the new head coach at North Carolina after Mac Brown left. You know, it's kind of weird. You're going from one old guy to another old guy in the same program. All right. third app, the ESPN app, which is free, okay? Amazon Music, SiriusXM, you need to have a subscription for that. ESPN app is free. And the sports talk podcasts and live radio is also free on the ESPN app, okay? So, two of these shows are live. You can listen to them live, all right? One of them is the Paul Feinbaum Show, which is an SEC football talk show. And, you know, right now, holiday season, it's a big part of the football season. Another one is the Michael Kay Show. But I don't listen to them right now. I only listen to them during baseball season. The Michael Kay Show is a New York sports talk show. So they'll talk New York Yankees, New York Mets, New York Jets, New York Giants, New York Rangers, Brooklyn Nets, New York Knicks, you know. But I really like when they talk about the MLB. Right now it's the MLB off season, and that's why I'm not listening to that show right now, okay? But I'll get back to it probably in February, maybe around the Super Bowl. Okay? And then there's a show that's also part of the Michael Kay Show called Evening Nightly News, or ENN for short, with Peter Rosenberg. His show's pretty funny. All right, other shows. SV Pod with Scott Van Pelt. That's a really good show to listen to. He mainly talks about football, both college and NFL. And whenever there's a big sports night, he would be on late at night, his Sports Center show. I think he's one of the best, or the best right now on ESPN. And I think he does his show. He did his show last weekend after the college football playoff ended, or the first round games ended. So I think he's going to be back for the quarterfinal games, which will be on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I think we'll see him on both nights. Other football shows, mainly college football. There's one called College Football Live. The host on there is Victoria Arlen. And then there's another one called College Game Day. Not the TV show, but I'm talking about the actual sports talk show. Oh, looks like the garbage truck. Oh, it's the recycling truck. The recycling truck just came at 3:11 p.m. the day after Christmas. So College Game Day, not the TV show, but the actual podcast. But Reese Davis is also on there. And I used to watch College Game Day, the TV program, but not anymore. I just don't like it. I don't like it anymore. It's just, I'll watch some videos of the show, but like actually watching the majority of the show live, I used to do that, but not anymore. It's not the same. It's not what it used to be, but that's okay. The show that I like more, that's on at the same time, is SEC Nation on the SEC Network, because I mainly watch SEC football anyways. All right. But there is a College Game Day podcast with Reese Davis. And the last one is a baseball show called Baseball Tonight with Buster Olney. Okay? So some of these shows, I'll listen to them pretty much the whole year. But then there are some shows that I'll only listen to them during certain times of the year. So let's go back to the shows on Amazon Music. Pretty much all of these shows, Tony Kornheiser, Dan Patrick, L. Duncan, Stephen A., Bill O'Reilly, and PTI, I mostly listen to those throughout this year. Same with SiriusXM, Adam Shine, Beadle and Decker, Mad Dog, Christopher Russo. Those are the three main shows I listen to throughout the year on Sirius XM. But I don't know why the app won't work on my phone. Every time I click on the app on my phone, it just doesn't open. Amazon Music opens, ESPN opens, but not Sirius XM. I don't understand that. Although my phone's storage is full, that could be the reason. All right, ESPN baseball tonight. I'm not listening to that show right now because it is the off season. But during the season, I'll mainly get my news from that podcast. Right now, it's a big part of the football season, so I will listen to College Game Day with Reese Davis, College Football Live with Victoria Arlen, and SV Pod with Scott Van Pelt and Stanford Steve, and the Paul Feinbaum Show. The Michael K. Show, I'm not listening to them right now, mainly during the spring and summer. All right. And then there's one more, and that is on YouTube. There is a YouTuber that used to be, or that is an old subscriber of my main channel. His channel name is called Johnny Sports Network. His channel name used to be called Johnny Talk Sports, but he changed it to Johnny Sports Network. He mainly does football predictions, NFL and college. So, and I'm currently in his Bowl Mania group. Yep, and he's also in my Bowl Mania group. That's a tradition that we do every year. So, Johnny Sports Network is the YouTube channel name. And then I made a list of all the personalities on these shows. So a lot of them are kind of old people, but that's fine because they've been doing this for a long time. Some of these guys have been doing their shows for decades. Okay, so yeah. So quick story. I started listening to some sports talk podcast in my earbuds a couple years ago. Paul Feinbaum Show. I've been listening to that for years now, at least about 5 years. And you can also watch that show on television. Same with the Michael K. Show, but it's on the Yes Network or the Yes app. Okay? I think Yes stands for Yankee Entertainment Sports or something like that. So, and then, over the past year, I got the SiriusXM app, so I started listening to some shows on there. And then this year, I listened to even more shows, Amazon Music, And then I started this list. It was over 3 months ago, pretty much when the NFL season began, week 1. So September, right? That's when I made like this list of these shows that I'll listen to. And I would listen to them almost every day. I don't listen to all the shows every day. I'll listen to some of them every day, mainly from Monday to Friday when I'm working, okay? On the weekends, I'm usually at home, and I would usually watch stuff on television, sports, okay? So, that's that. All right, I need a drink of water because you need to stay hydrated. And also, I mentioned that the shirt that I'm wearing is my favorite game, American Truck Simulator. And a lot of times I would live stream that game whenever I'm playing that game. And mainly this year, a lot of times whenever I'm listening to or playing that game, a lot of times I would listen to some of these shows while I'm playing the game as it's part of my radio. That's kind of cool, right? Speaking of that game, a couple nights ago I live streamed that game, And you know what I was playing as part of my radio? It's a channel or a station on the SiriusXM app called Road Dog Trucking. Yeah, Road Dog Trucking News. And because when you're on the road, you see a lot of truckers. And this is the holiday season. There's a lot of truckers delivering as many packages as they can, you know. So if you're a trucker, I tip my cap to you. You are awesome, okay? See, I love that game so much, but I don't want to become a trucker in real life because it's different, real life compared to a video game. The thing about being a trucker is that you're always on the road constantly, you know. Some people can handle that stuff. Some people can do that. Or being a sports athlete, you're always traveling, during your season. Especially if you're like a pro wrestler, like in the WWE or AEW. I used to watch some of the WWE and AEW. I don't I don't follow those much. Once in a while, I'll probably get some big news of either the WWE or AEW, but I like watching the old WWE / WWF on Peacock. Oh, and speaking of that, Monday Night Raw will be going to Netflix. Yep, I think January 6th, the first Monday night episode of 2025 will be on Netflix. So I wonder how that's going to go. The Mike Tyson Jake Paul event was a failure. Those two NFL games on Christmas Day were also a failure. If this is also a failure, if this Monday Night Raw show, if this is also a failure, oh my gosh, because this is a weekly show. I don't know. I might watch the first episode just to see what it's like, but I'm not going to permanently watch it. I used to permanently watch the WWE from like 2017 to 2020-ish or 2021. But for the past couple of years, I permanently switch to the old wrestling on Peacock. I started over 2 years ago. I'm watching stuff from 1995 in 2022, which was the beginning of the Monday Night Wars era, because there was two Monday night shows happening at the same time, one for the WWF and one for WCW. So 2 years later, I'm watching 1997 stuff, and since we're approaching the end of this year, next year I'll be watching 1998 stuff, and that's how it's gonna be. I'm gonna be watching that whole era, which is about 5 6 years from 95 to 2001. So yeah, I love it. It's a show program that I follow or watch on a weekly basis. So when it comes to my entertainment, some of it's kind of old school. Just like music, I like listening to old rock and roll music. And all this stuff was before I was alive. But that's okay. Just like some video games I grew up playing. I don't really play today's games. I don't listen to today's music. I don't watch today's TV shows. But what I do follow is today's sports. So there you go. Okay, that is it. We're approaching 30 minutes, so it's time for me to wrap this up here. One more episode before the end of the year, which will be on Monday. And Monday, the last episode of 2024, I will be talking about my favorite sports championship games each year. I started watching sports permanently in 2013, so I'm going to go by year by year of my favorite sports championship games. All right. So that is it. Thank you for listening to KSN Episode 3. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Well, I'll be back one more time before the end of this year. See you then. Let's play that danger music. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Keith Sports News.